Hey everybody, Mac here, and we are doing graphing system of inequalities. So this is version B. I'll write a B right here. Okay, we did have a version A, and you could find that down at maxtutorials.com. I'd love it if you went in there and looked at it, and like and subscribe to this video, and you will see lots of different problems. In fact, to do this, you should have gone to chapter 5, where I do graphing inequalities, and you can become a pro at that. Now, this is going to be old guy with technology, and I'm going to try some new things and use all these pretty colors, so don't laugh at me too much, okay? So I'm going to start with my red. And so right here, as we worked out in chapter 5, I'm going to start at +1, and now I'm going to go, there's a coefficient of 1, a slope of 1, so it's 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, which is also down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Now, look right here. There is no equal sign, so I want to do a dash. And now I'm going to go over here, and I've been noticed it says y is greater. Well, y's are greater on this side, so watch what, what did I do there? Y's are greater up here, so I want to shade up on this side. And that right there takes care of that problem. Now we got to go do another problem in blue. And so I'm going to start at +7. And now my slope is -1 over 1. So I want to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And look here, there is no equal sign. So this is going to be dashed as well. Okay, so now that I have a dashed one right here, I have to decide where I'm going to shade this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade where the y's get smaller. Well, the y's get smaller on this side. So watch as I shade, da, 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 and now I have to ask where do they cross, and they cross right in here in this area. So right here is where you would shade this in black, and boom, that is your answer. And so if you notice also, these are a dashed line, and that's a dashed line. And if you go look at the answer key, they're not going to give you every part of it, but you'll see that you have these dashed lines right here, and it's shaded. When you get like maybe a multiple choice at your test when you're doing this at school, sometimes they'll give you the right shading, but they'll do a solid line instead of a dash. So really watch out for that. All right, well, that was fun. Let's go on and let's do this one in red. Now, some people forget when you see x is greater than or equal to -2. Is that a horizontal line or is that a vertical line? This is the one thing I see students forget more than anything. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write -2 a bunch of times. And let's just make up 0, 2, and -3. Let's graph them. If x is -2 and y is 0. X is -2, y is 2. -3. Can you guys see what's going on here? It's going to be a vertical line, and because of the equal sign, it's going to be a straight line. Now, here's where some people get a little bit confused. What area do we shade? We want to shade where the x's are greater. Well, where are the x's greater? Well, it's right over here. This is where the x's get bigger. So I'm going to shade on this side, and that's going to be the answer for the first one. Now I have to find the answer for the second one, and this is just going to be a normal line. So I'm going to start at 5, which is way up here, and I'm going to do a 1 over 1 slope, up 1 over, or down 1 over, down 1 over, and this is going to be a dashed line. Now I have to decide where I'm going to shade. So I'm going to shade where the y's get smaller. Y's get smaller down here, so I want to shade this side. So now you have to ask yourself, well, that's great, but where do they combine? Now, this one gets a little bit harder to see, but if you look at it, it's right here, right on that line, and where this dash happens. So ultimately, I'm going to fill it in here, because one's a straight and one's a slant. It looks a little bit weird, but now watch this. Boom. That's going to be your answer. And so you want to look for this straight line right in here, and the dashed line right in here. And there's your answer. Okay, let's keep going with this. So now this one is y is less than or equal to -3. Now again, some people forget these. When you do, if it helps you, you can just do an XY chart. Now the y is going to be the 3. Okay, and let's just add, I don't know, a 0, a 2, a -1. Where's 0, 3? Boom, boom. Where's 2, 3? Boom, boom. Where's a -1, 3? Boom, boom. Can you tell it's going to be a horizontal line now? Now, if you look, you have the equal sign, so we're going to do a straight line. Now, do I shade up or do I shade down? Well, I want to shade where y's are less than or equal to 3. Well, less than is down here below, so I want to shade beneath the line. Well, there's a half of our answer. Now we got to find the other half right here. So I'm going to start at -1. Ooh, I almost started there as the axis. This is where you got to be a little careful. That is -1. And my slope is going to be down 1 over 1. So down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, which is the same as up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. There will not be a solid line because there is no equal sign. So this gets a dash. Now, if you look, we kind of have four quadrants here: boom, 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 and boom. So one of these is going to be the answer. So we'll find that out by shading the blue, and we shade where the y's get bigger. The y's get bigger here. So here's my blue line, and I want to shade the side where they get bigger. So that's going to be right in there. Can you see where they connect? They connect right here. So it's going to go boom, and over here, and everything in between. Okay, and this, my friends, would be your answer, something like that. And make sure that this part is dashed, and make sure that this side is solid. All right, let's go on to another one. Let us go do the red one right here. So that one, that looks like, that should be look like this, 1 over 2, right? So I'm going to start with -1, and I'm going to do up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, which is the same as down 1, left 2. And this is going to be a dashed line because there is no equal. That was fun. And so now I'm going to shade. I'm going to shade where my y's get bigger. My y's get bigger up here. So I want to shade above the line. So I'm going to shade there. Okay, so now let's do the blue one. Now I've shown you some examples before of doing an XY chart, but now you know that the X will always be -4. That's going to be a vertical line on 4, and it's going to be a dashed line because there's no equal sign. So on -4, I'm going to do a dashed line. If that's still freaking you out, again, do this XY chart like we did before and put 4s in the X's, and you'll get something that looks like that. All right, now we got to shade it. Here's the time. Here's a moment of truth. Where do the x's get smaller? Because, oh, sorry, keep hitting buttons. X's get smaller over here. So I want to shade this side of the blue line. Can you see where they cross? They cross right on this slant right here, and then right on this line. And so this would be where we fill it in, and it'll look something like this. Okay, fill that in a little bit better. Okay, so when it's all said and done, you're going to have a dash line down and a dash line kind of in the slant, and everything in here would be an answer to this problem. Hey, we're halfway done with this sheet, okay? Here we go. Let's do some reds right here. So this one is going to be up 2, and it's going to be down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, up 1. If you say, how do I figure that out so fast? Go to chapter 5, because in chapter 5, I talk all about how to graph, and these are all in the slope-intercept form, which if you did chapter 5, you're going to feel really comfortable. Remember, maxtutorials.com. Watch it. It's going to help you. So right here, I need to shade where the y's get bigger. The y's get bigger right here, so I'm going to shade up there. This is the side I shade. Okay, now I'm going to go do the blues, and I'm going to start at +1. That's my y-intercept. And now I'm going to do a slope of 3 over 1. That means up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, which is the same as down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. And because there's no equal sign, I want to do a dashed line. Now, I've got to get my brain to sort of ignore that red. This is where this gets a little hard, especially if you're not using colored pencils, if you're just doing it with one pencil. Now, if you make sure you do your shading perpendicular to the line, it'll be easier because you'll see them crisscross. But I need to shade when my y's are smaller. My y's are smaller right here of this side of the blue line. Okay, do not look at the red line, only look at the blue line and shade to the blue line. Now, can you see where they cross? They cross right in here. Boom, and boom. And then we're just going to fill everything in from there. Okay? And that, my friends, is the answer. Now, when you look at your answer keys to try to figure out what it is, make sure that it's dashed line up here and it's solid line right over here. Okay? Now, let's go over to the next one. So I'm going to do this top one in red. X is greater than 5, -5. So I'm going to go to my -5. Let me get to red. And this is going to be a dashed line. It's It's not going to be solid because there's no equal sign there, right? And so that's it. Now I just got to find out which way I'm going to shade. And I am going to shade where the x's get bigger. Well, the x's get bigger over here. So I'm going to shade that way. Okay. So now I'm going to do my blues. And so my blues are right there. And so I want to do, this is like a -1/2, right? And so, oops, I'm not blue. There, now I'm blue. -2. And I'm going to go down 1/2, down 1/2, or up 1, left 2. And I am going to do a solid line. And it's going to look like this. And I'm going to shade, oops, where the y's get smaller. Y's get smaller right there. So I'm going to shade right here. Do you guys see where they're connecting? Because I do. They connect right in here. Oop, that's the wrong color. How'd that happen? There we go. This will work a little bit better. Okay, and then right along that line, right along this line, and everything in between. Okay, so this right here would be my answer. Make sure that going up, you're going to have your dash line, and make sure that slanting over here, you're going to get your solid line. Okay, and that, my friends, is your answer. All right, 2 more, and we're done with this worksheet. Thanks for hanging in there, everybody. So on this one, let's go ahead and start with our red right here. I'm going to start at +4. I'm going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, and it's going to be a dashed line. Boom, 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 boom. And now I have to shade where the y's, oh, wrong color, where the y's get bigger. The y's get bigger right here. So I'm going to shade this side. Now I'm going to take my blue, and I'm going to do this one. Where are y's greater and equal to -3? Well, here's my y at -3, and I'm going to do a solid line, and I'm going to shade where my y's get bigger. Well, my y's get bigger this side, so I want to shade up here. Okay? And where do they cross? They cross right in this area, right in here. Okay? Get that all nice and shady. Something like that. Make sure that you have your dash line and make sure that you have your solid line. Okay, last one. Here we go. I'm going to do the x is less than or equal to a 2. So here's my 2, but that's my y is 2. My x is 2 right there. Okay, so that's what's important to me. And so I want to do a horizontal line at 2. No matter which point I pick here, my x's are always going to be 2. Okay, there's 2, 1, there's 2, 4, there's 2, -4, so it's all 2's all over the place. So that's why it's a vertical line. And where are the x's less than or equal? Well, they're less than or equal over here, where the x's are over here. So I'm just going to shade on this side of the line. Okay? Sorry, it's a little messy. And then I'm going to now do my blue one, which is right here. I'm going to start at +8. And I'm going to go -1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And this is going to be a dashed line. So look at this. My answer could actually be right in there, couldn't it? Can't be there because it's not red. Can't be there. Could be here. So which one's it going to be? Let's find out. We're going to shade. Which side? Where the y's are smaller. Well, here's where the y's are smaller down here. So I want to shade this side of the graph. All right, can you see where they connect? They connect, and it's a big one on this one. It's going to go right in here, and it's, oh, something happened. And then it's going to go all the way down here, and everything in between, okay? Nice and quick. Not quite perfect, but it's something. And make sure when you look at the answer key, when you look at yours, that the blue part of this is going to be dotted and the red part of this is going to be solid. Oops, sorry about that. My friends, that is exercise B. You just finished it. Now, sometimes they won't have them lined up for you. Sometimes you have to do some math to get them in the y equals mx plus b. I believe we have some of those on the C version. But if you're feeling really good about this, go ahead and go on to the next sheet. But I do have a version C if you want a little bit more work, and I'll see you there.